Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a supernatural horror film, Vietnamese horror story. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a couple paying respect to the guy's late father. Soon after, their two friends arrive to celebrate their first get-together after a decade. As the other guy prepares to burn incense, the power goes out, followed by the loud knocks of their remaining friend. They let him in, as he's been freezing due to the rain. To pass the time by, they decide to tell Joe stories related to urban legends and see which one is scarier. The first story begins with Miss Lan, a popular 1960s actress. She is adored by anyone. Everywhere she goes, the fans and journalists follow her, and even the owner of the sugarcane juice cart that she drinks paints her face to attract more customers. However, a mysterious man visits her one night. When Miss Lan opens the gate, the man throws acid on her gorgeous face. Following that attack, Miss Lan disappears from the film industry and fades away from people's memories over the years. However, her legacy still lingers with aspiring actresses like Beauty. The following day, Beauty arrives at the house of Cutie, a well-known and sexy actress who follows Miss Lan's footsteps. Apparently, Beauty wants to be Cutie's student on the way to her acting career. Cutie begins by complimenting the women's physical features, and she describes Beauty as beautiful enough not to imitate Miss Lan. Later that night, while her boyfriend's asleep, Beauty stares at herself in the mirror when she notices something. She peels off her face when a woman with no skin on her face appears in the mirror and screams at her. But it turns out to be a nightmare for her. The boyfriend calms her down, but without a kiss. The following day, Beauty discovers that her rival has told Cutie about her boyfriend. The confrontation gets interrupted when Cutie receives a call, so Beauty confronts her rival. She claims that Beauty is stealing her career and walks away triumphantly. While Cutie is still on the phone, Beauty sees a woman in a room. When she approaches her, the woman suddenly appears from her side and grabs her neck. Beauty once again wakes up. Beauty apologizes to Cutie for bothering her and promptly gets her things before leaving. Beauty arrives home by taking the Tesla pedicab, but then she realizes that she left her purse at Cutie's place. So she returns to the house to get her purse. However, she notices that Cutie's room is locked, followed by glass breaking and a faint scream. Beauty concerningly calls Cutie, who texts her not to worry and leave. As she returns home, Beauty shares the strange things that she experienced at Cutie's place. She's certain about seeing Miss Lan's ghost with her face burnt by acid. Her boyfriend calms her down, believing that she's just thinking too much. The following day, Beauty cannot hide her shock and happiness when Cutie tells her that she has been chosen and will act with her in an upcoming film. Cutie tells her to move in, as it will be better for Beauty's acting practice. However, there is another favor Cutie asks for Beauty involving her boyfriend. Beauty's boyfriend refuses to end their relationship and is mad that Beauty even considers it. Later that day, Cutie shows Beauty her new room and tells her the 2 rules she must follow while living with her. She is forbidden to go upstairs and must not wander around the house late at night alone. Cutie also gives her a bird nest soup and tells her to finish it and go to bed early. Beauty finishes it as instructed. The following day, Beauty sits beside Cutie as they talk to the director, who refuses to film as Beauty is not a well-known actress. So Cutie decides to invest in the film so she can have a say on who will be the actors and actresses. Cutie takes care of Beauty as if she's her child and always caresses Beauty's beautiful face. She also ensures that Beauty drinks the bird nest soup she makes every night. Days later, Beauty is introduced as one of the film's final cast. Beauty shows her gratitude by giving Cutie a bouquet. However, Cutie gives her a paper, indicating that the house will be in her name. Beauty refuses it, but Cutie insists that everything that is hers is also Beauty's. Later that night, Beauty receives a message from her boyfriend, asking her to pick up the phone. So she reminds him not to contact her anymore. But her boyfriend longs for her. It turns out that Beauty has kept her relationship secret from Cutie to continue her career. Cutie enters the room and discovers the lie. So the following day, Beauty finally ends things with her boyfriend, while Cutie repeatedly slams the bouquet on the bedside table. Later that night, Beauty's boyfriend still contacts her, so she picks up the phone and puts it on the bedside table. Cutie enters the room and gives her the bird nest soup, which she finishes. However, Beauty secretly makes a cup of coffee to finish reading the script. Meanwhile, Cutie murmurs some kind of prayer while staring at herself in the mirror before removing the skin off her face. She puts it in a bowl filled with blood. Beauty then hears a faint scream from upstairs and goes upstairs despite the rules being told when Cutie suddenly appears. Beauty wakes up thinking it's a nightmare and realizes she's late for the shooting. She apologizes to Cutie for being late. However, Cutie informs her that the director has rescheduled, so Beauty reads the script to prepare. She notices the dried drop of coffee from last night and realizes that everything is real and not a nightmare. Later that night, two men attack Beauty's boyfriend, presumably angry that he was in a relationship with a now-famous Beauty. He runs away out to the road, where a truck runs him over. Meanwhile, as Cutie is busy picking something up, Beauty quickly pours the bird nest soup into her bag. So later that night, she sneaks upstairs and witnesses something frightening by looking into the door gaps of Cutie's room. She keeps herself silent and slowly crawls away to leave when Cutie catches her. Beauty wakes up tied in a secret dungeon room where she finds a chained woman with a severely disfigured face. Beauty pleads with Cutie to free her, but Cutie only caresses her face before leaving. It turns out the chained woman reveals that she is the real Cutie, and Miss Lan has resorted to black magic because of being depressed with her disfigured face. Just like her, Cutie was also Miss Lan's student, and now Beauty is her next target since she needs her face to be changed every 20 years. Miss Lan keeps her body young because of black magic. Miss Lan calculates everything, including transferring all assets to Beauty's name and demonstrating that Beauty committed suicide because of the pressure. She also practices introducing herself as Beauty in the mirror, imitating Beauty's voice and actions. After that, Miss Lan goes to the dungeon and thanks Cutie for her face for the last 20 years. While she removes the face, Beauty removes the ties, frees herself, and attempts to leave the house. But all the doors and windows are locked wherever she goes. Cornered, Beauty unexpectedly scars her beautiful face with a glass shard. This totally angers Miss Lan, so she ends Beauty's life by repeatedly stabbing her with the glass shard. Beauty doesn't care anymore and accepts her fate. Soon, Miss Lan prepares another innocent aspiring beautiful actress, intending to steal her face. Meanwhile, the news of Beauty getting killed while attempting to end Cutie's life is all over the news. The second story begins with a young man named Candy who sells cotton candy for a living. Candy often shows magic tricks to his young customers, who are students. A little girl asks him to do a magic trick in exchange for candy, but Candy kindly refuses and promises to show one when he returns. Candy returns home to their apartment building, where he regularly catches up with an old woman in a red dress. The woman always plays the same song on her violin every night at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, Candy's father, named Tai, is in his room paying respect to a pentagon mirror in the middle of his altar. Tai is about to cut his palm when Candy unlocks the door. Later that day, Candy argues with his father about the offerings, as he believes it's nonsense. Tai changes the subject and warns Candy not to promise anything to the children at school and to stop doing magic tricks. Pissed off, Candy wanders outside to calm himself. He runs into the same little girl who has asked for a magic trick. The girl runs away after saying that Candy needs to keep the promises he makes. He loses her, but a noodle vendor tells him the girl will return soon. Candy orders a rice noodle. However, the soup turns dark when something from above drops. He looks up and sees the vendor's headless. As he stumbles from shock and fear, the vendor shows his palm, revealing its eye and mouth. This prompts him to wake up, but then he realizes he's bleeding from his eyes. He attempts to wash it off, but the bleeding will not stop. He runs to his father, and only then does the bleeding stop. Tai only says he has warned him not to promise anything to the children. One night, while searching for his dad in the altar room, Candy finds a wooden luggage full of magic tricks equipment. This prompts the flashback to show a young Tai becoming fascinated and obsessed with magic after seeing a magician doing tricks. However, his dad doesn't support him until he stops his obsession. Tai's mother sides with his dad, but Tai is dedicated to being a magician, so he pursues the career till he grows up. His obsession grows even stronger when he finds the pentagon mirror with a devil locked inside. Tai is bullied because of his chosen path, but he doesn't care about that and still pursues being a magician. He makes a deal with the devil to create magic tricks people have never seen in exchange for his fame. However, he soon runs out of ideas, and one mistake of accidentally throwing darts in his assistant's eyes forever ruins his career. One day when Candy returns home, he recognizes the old woman's son putting a for sale sign on the apartment. Candy learns from her son that the old woman has been dead for decades, and no one has lived in the apartment since then. But Candy refuses to believe that, and tells him that the woman plays the violin every night at 9 o'clock. She also wears a red dress and holds a violin. He returns home still in disbelief, as the son claims that his mother looked exactly what Candy describes her when she was alive. Overwhelmed by the scary visions he has seen, Candy goes into the altar room and prepares to break the pentagon mirror. But he suddenly finds himself in a theater. There, he finds his dad seated in the front row with the creepy ghosts. He walks toward them, only to find himself at the edge of the stairs. He climbs upstairs to return home, but he's followed by bloody footsteps made by an unseen entity. Candy wakes up and realizes that it's a nightmare. Meanwhile, Ty wears his magician uniform while giving his offerings to the demon. But this time, he sacrifices his body and life. The demon moves a knife in the air to take Ty's life when Candy arrives just in time to save his dad. Candy faces his dad, who tells him he does not exist. Candy looks down and sees a knife plunged into his stomach. The TV screen shows that Ty is actually all alone, and this reveals that Candy is merely an illusion conjured up by Ty to escape his failures and loneliness. The story ends with Ty ending his life after getting tired of living as an old crazy man. The third story begins with a psychic facing her client, a couple. The wife has a deceased sister named Innocent and wants the psychic to find Innocent's remains. The wife then gives her sister's picture to the psychic. Later that day, the psychic shoos away two of the neighbor boys playing at her door. Afterward, the psychic wakes up to a faint voice calling out to her, so she investigates her house and finds Innocent's picture on the floor. Suddenly, a headless ghost with a knife plunged into its chest enters her home and runs to her. The psychic wakes up from the nightmare, but then finds Innocent's picture in her hand. So she uses her psychic abilities, and the vision shows her a terrifying place that might be a message from Innocent. Later that day, the psychic checks out the spacious place. It's a field in the countryside full of banana groves surrounded by cemeteries. She uses her psychic abilities while holding Innocent's picture, leading her to a house. There, she encounters an old woman who warns her to stop looking for Innocent's remains, as it might be the end of her. The psychic refuses, as she has promised Innocent's family that she will find her. The night darkens when the psychic leaves the house. A shadow suddenly appears behind her. The psychic runs her psychic body away and stops as she realizes the purpose of her visit. She starts digging to look for Innocent's remains, but someone suddenly chokes her from behind, causing her to lose consciousness. She wakes up as the sun rises and returns home after failing to find her remains. However, she accidentally finds the couple's house, and while there, she encounters Innocent's ghost playing the piano. Psychic tells her to stop, and Innocent suddenly appears at the stairs, so she follows her, leading to the wife. She overhears the wife revealing to the husband that she is dying because of an illness, and her last wish is to find her sister and return them to their parents before she leaves the world. The psychic follows the husband to his house, which reveals to be a few blocks away from her apartment. She dismisses that and walks to her door when the two boys from yesterday welcome her with huge creepy smiles. She also finds a woman's head on the floor, covered with blood. The psychic enters her home in a panic and hides under the sheet until she calms down. Later that night, a headless witch visits her and chokes her while asleep. This prompts the psychic to have a vision of the terrifying place. Bothered and curious by this clue, Psychic investigates the terrifying place, digging the soil until she finds Innocent's remains, including her skull. Suddenly, Innocent's killer appears behind her and slowly kills her with the exact string. While the psychic chokes, the scene reveals that a man abducts Innocent and sexually abuses her before beheading her. This explains why the psychic has been experiencing nightmares of headless spirits and finding herself in Innocent's position to reveal how Innocent died. Innocent then enters the psychic's body as the couple arrives at the same place where Innocent used to play as a child. As the sun slowly rises, the wife sees Innocent's remains and realizes that the psychic has finally found her sister. So the wife performs a ceremony for her and bids goodbye to her sister to finally have peace and closure. It is also revealed that the husband is a psychic himself and knows everything all along, but he doesn't have the guts to reveal the heartbreaking story of Innocent to his partner. While in the psychic's body, Innocent cannot help but shed tears as she finally reunites with her sister and assures her that she will be fine now. The story ends with Innocent finally making peace with her tragic death. Back to the storytelling five friends. The electricity has returned, so they decide to return to their rooms to rest. However, the friend who got wet from the rain decides to watch the television. The film ends with the friend walking strangely to the altar, while the news report reveals that he has actually died from a motorcycle accident on the way to the house. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.